Welcome into another episode of the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast on Sports Illustrated from the Fans First Sports Network. I'm Tom Cavanaugh. You can follow me at TCav30 on Twitter/X. Follow our insider pages at UCLA Insider on SI. I'm your UCLA Bruins insider, and we're going to be looking at a few different things today. Talk about the defensive MVP for the Bruins football team, considering we talked about Ethan Garbers, the senior quarterback. He was the offensive MVP. We'll return the favor on the defensive side. And then we'll also talk about one transfer that could possibly come to the Bruins program. It would be a big help, especially with losing a guy in the secondary of the defense. This guy out of Louisville would be big. So we'll start with our defensive MVP, which is Carson Schlesinger, the junior linebacker. Man, was he incredible this season. I mean, you talk about what he was able to do from the jump. This was his best year. I mean, he had 27 tackles in his first two seasons, and this year he posted 136. He finished third in all of FBS in total tackles. He was a finalist currently for the Butkus Award, given to the best linebacker in all of college football. He has also become a semifinalist for the Burlsworth Trophy. That is given to the best walk-on in college football in a single season. And, I mean, he can win both, honestly, from the numbers that he posted this season. 90 solo tackles led the team, 136 obviously led the team total. He had a forced fumble. He intercepted 2 passes, had 3 pass deflections. He did a little bit of everything this year. And when you look at his numbers from game to game, 9 out of the 12 games that he played this year, he stayed healthy all year, playing all 12. But 9 of the 12, he had 10 or more tackles, which is incredible. I think he passed Eric Kendricks at some point during this season for most 10-plus tackle games in a season. So, I mean, tip your cap. And the kid had 17 total tackles against Washington in a loss in the middle of November back in Week 11. He was the heart and soul of the defense. He was given a captain's patch for a reason, and boy, did he live up to it, not only in his production and his play, but his leadership on the field. One question surrounding Carson, though, is he took part in the senior send-off celebrations prior to their Fresno State season finale at the Rose Bowl. He was asked about it post-game, and he said that he's got to have a conversation with head coach Deshaun Foster on what his future holds as a Bruin. Now, I don't know if that's him declaring for the draft, transferring schools, or just stop playing football. I'm not sure. He definitely should try to enter his name into the draft, but for the sake of Bruins fans, maybe just hang on one more year and be the captain of that defense, considering they're already losing Oluwafemi Oladipo, the senior, Kane Medrano as well. Both of those guys are done. And your third best back is a junior, so you could return at least one of the 3 and bring Schlesinger back. I mean, he was a stud. 13 tackles against Oregon, 15 against Penn State, 12 against LSU, 17, as I mentioned, against Washington, 12 against USC, and another 15 against Fresno State. I mean, he played against the best teams in college football, and he succeeded at a high level. Finished with 4 sacks, as I mentioned, so he was a linebacker that also, would drop back into coverage as well as blitz with 2 interceptions. It was Carson and Medrano in the middle of the field that did rack up 4 total picks for this team, and they did a really nice job of dropping back, reading the eyes of the quarterback, and picking some balls off. But Schlesinger, by far, the defensive MVP for this team. He garnered national recognition, and he's getting recognition not just from the Bruins media here, but also from, being a finalist for the Butkus, being a semifinalist for the Burlsworth Trophy. You can't say much more about how the kid played this season, and Bruins fans are very much hoping that he sticks around for another season. Switch over to the recruiting transfer portal right now for the Bruins. They're in a tough spot. They are losing a key number of guys on the defensive side, one of them being safety Brian Addison, who was a senior this past year in his 5th year. He's entering his name into the upcoming NFL draft, and that leaves a spot open for a guy named Ben Perry. Perry's he's a safety coming out of Louisville, spent 4 years there, and didn't have the production that I think he wanted this year, and he's looking for a new home. And reports from Chris Hummer of 247 Sports, he says that Perry is scheduled to make a visit to the Bruins program on December 14th. Perry's from Chicago, Illinois. He's played his college ball, as I said, for Louisville down in Kentucky, and he's got one final year of eligibility left. He's looking for that 5th year, kind of, want to do what Addison did, where Brian spent 4 years at Oregon, didn't quite have the same sort of production that he would have liked towards the end of his career as an upperclassman, and transferred to UCLA, had a fantastic season, and now he's entering his name into the NFL draft. I could see Perry doing the same thing if he were to choose the Bruins. And because there's a need for a guy in the secondary now. Safeties coach Brian Norwood. He's been with the Bruins for 4 years now, started in 2020. He's the perfect coach to break down Perry, helped out Addison, helped him get to the next level, or hoping to, with his name in the draft. And I think Perry could follow suit there. And if they have a good conversation in the middle of December, things could look up for the Bruins defense as they start to bolster both sides of the ball. Because, every team right now is dealing with transfer portal stuff. Talk about Logan Loya, one of the receivers, and it kind of plays into what Perry's situation is too. So Logan, he didn't have his best year when it comes to production, didn't have a ton of snaps, not a ton of targets for the Bruins at the wide receiver position. So he decided to enter the transfer portal, stepping away from the Bruins program. And now kind of vice versa here with Perry. In 10 games this year, he only had 29 tackles and 1 sack, also a forced fumble. But when you look at his numbers, the production just wasn't there. I don't know if it was him not being on the field or just not executing. Either way, he's looking for a new place, just like Addison, as we mentioned, to fill in and become a starter, play almost every snap on the defensive side of the ball, and get to the NFL draft. That's what all these college kids want to do, is continue to strengthen their resumes, strengthen their season stats to be able to be looked upon by NFL scouts like they can play at the next level. And I think Perry's got the intangibles to do it. His best season was in 2023 with Louisville, where he recorded 56 total tackles. And it was weird. He did have a sack as well in that season, but his production and his time on the field, his number of snaps, was higher his junior year than it was his sophomore year, considering he redshirted his first season. But Perry would be big. Right now, it's a carousel with the Bruins. They're adding guys. They're losing them. They're trying to recruit still out of high school. So a lot of moving parts currently for UCLA. And if they're able to land a guy in Ben Perry, things are looking up for that defensive side of the ball. This has been the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast on Sports Illustrated. I'm your host, Tom Cavanaugh. You can follow me once again at TCAP30 on Twitter/X, and follow our insider pages at UCLA Insider on SI, both on Twitter/X and Facebook. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you again tomorrow.